Welcome back to Dark Nexus. It's Act 2, Chapter 50, Part 2. We started talking about how we're in two timelines this evening and how we won't know what happened in both until it's all done. We now know what did happen in one timeline. I don't know if you've personally had a near-death experience, Paul. You know, in my experience, one of two things happens. Either everything speeds up crazy fast and you lose all sense of time, or things wind down to an absolute frozen moment. And I'm imagining for Ray, as that blade slid into his side, that time did freeze for him in that moment. And no pressure if you don't have an answer to this question right now and you'd rather just have us move on, but I'm curious if you know the nature of what Ray was thinking in that moment.
Absolutely.
Great, share it with us.
Yeah, I just feel in that. I feel so connected to Ray because I've developed this character so much from my own life. Not that Ray. Well, can I start that over again?
No, it was beautiful.
Oh, but, I feel very connected to Ray, so I feel in sympathy with him in almost like a multiverse way, connected to him in that feeling of, oh no, I was going to be such a help. I was going to help so much. I had so much help to give. No, it's too late.
Let's wind our clock back now to find out who I kill in the second of our two timelines.
Oh, God.
Oh, can you just kill me? I'm tired of this.
You're not getting out that easy.
Yeah, we're all in now.
Oh.
Okay, so we're back on the deck of the Sullen Starling. The halfling Lynn has run up to Skywind. Crack of thunder, lances of lightning arcing across the sky. There's that storm brewing out over the lake. I talked about it about an hour ago to you in reference to your other characters, but now this set of characters is seeing it and experiencing it. And Lynn comes running up. Oh, Captain, we've got scum approaching, don't you know? And at the rear of the boat, you hear his twin brother, Din, calling out, Din never says die! So, the tent structure was already taken down as part of the Desna ritual, and the wrought iron fire pit was already moved so that the circle of you all could stand in the center of the foredeck and cast your handfuls of ash and gemstone into the air. So the hatch to below is easily accessible at this moment. In this breath, before the scum reached the ship, Lynn caught sight of them about a minute out as they slipped into the water over in the cove beneath Crocus Hill. Skywind immediately directs Voustin and Nasa to get all the refugees below decks. There's only this one hatch area to get down to there, so it's a highly defensible position. The chapel crew, led by Voustin and Nasa, will put themselves at the bottom of the hatch, bar it, and keep themselves as a wall in front of all the non-combatants. And several of Skywind's crew joins them, a last line of defense. This leaves 8 of you on deck to act as the first line of defense. Skywind, 3 of her crew members, Lynn, Din, and Joshua, plus Barnabas, Bates, Stasi, and Dabwick. This is the first time we're going to be seeing any of these folks in action, so let's set them up briefly for our listeners here. First, I'll say that the 4 of you would assess Skywind's crew members as superb sailors and fishermen, decent shots with their crossbows, scrappy enough, like maybe their armor class isn't total garbage, but they're not going to survive more than a couple of hits from scum in close quarters. They would typically get on top of the cabin and focus on ranged attacks. You would assess Skywind as the closest thing to a superhero anyone in this game has met. She is a swashbuckler and multiple experience levels higher than any of you.
Oh.
So you can tell she's going to hit hard, be incredibly hard to hit. She is basically your secret weapon here, though she's focused on melee combat. which is probably going to be helpful.
Indeed.
So let's talk about your backup characters here. Why don't you want to kick us off, Paul?
Sure.
Why don't you tell us
Jeez.
what class Dabwick is, and give us a sort of a high level take on what their jam is. We'll learn more, obviously, as we move forward.
So Dabwick is a druid archetype known as the urban druid, where the druid, instead of acquiring their inspiration from forms of nature, is inspired by the life, the organism that is a city. In this case, Casimir. Dabwick has only known Casimir and is excited to be out in the world. From a macro point of view, Dabwick does not have the reputation of respect that they think they do back home in Casimir. They are placated somewhat. Their profession actually in Casimir is as a ratter.
Pest removal.
Yeah, pest removal.
Yeah, so ranks and profession ratter.
Oh my gosh.
So we've got a druid going on. Ability to cast druid spells, and you have given Dabwick, I think this is part of the way the urban druid works, right? You got access to a particular domain. What is that domain?
Yeah, so Dabwick has, in lieu of summoning
Animal companion.
having an animal companion, Dabwick has domain spells like a cleric. And so Dabwick's domain is protection, fortifications. So the flavor of Dabwick is all about slate and walls and gravel and cobblestones and sort of a mix of character from like a Neil Gaiman, China Mayville's crossover.
Sweet.
Love it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Great. We will obviously see more as we go along here. Katie, why don't you fill us in on Anastasia, a.k.a. Air quotes Annie, really known as Stasi.
Stasi is my very first multi-classed character.
Ever?
I think, well, technically, we played that campaign where we all
right.
started off as rogues, and then I took a sorcerer level, and then it was like, why didn't I just be a bard in the first place? But we didn't get very far in that. So she started off life on the streets of Caliphas as a rogue, an unchained rogue of the Knife Master persuasion, which segs nicely into her work as an inquisitor of Pharasma, whose favorite weapon is the dagger.
Yeah.
So she's better with daggers than anything else.
Yeah, and so those knife masters basically get higher sneak attack die when using daggers and then lower when using anything
I will
else.
say that had I known this fight was coming, I would have leveled her differently at 5th level and taken a rogue level instead of an inquisitor level.
Well.
Since I intend to max her out at 3 rogue levels, I would have given her 3 rogue levels.
I've just given you the gift of getting to experience that level 3 level later on.
Thank you so much, provided you don't kill her right now.
And for those who don't know, what is the Inquisitor's Jam?
Inquisitor's Jam is like, I always liken it to, if you've seen the movie Serenity, I always liken Inquisitors to the operative, where they are agents of a divine being, sort of along the lines of an oracle who doesn't know where they get their powers. Like, she knows where her power comes from, but she is not like a devout. She's a doer, not a prayer. She understands the tenets. She understands what's expected to her, but she has jobs to do, and on behalf of the temple and of the goddess.
Yeah.
And she gets them done.
They are often the ones the churches send out to do the things
Nobody
in the
wants to
church feels they should do.
Takes on the sins of everyone else so
Exactly.
that they
Yeah,
don't have to.
She's making a world better, but not so she can live in it.
Yep. Love it. Robert.
Hello.
Mr. Barnabas.
So Barnabas is a skald. And so like Grip's Brawler is a melding of monk and fighter, the skald is a melding of barbarian and bard.
Yes.
Oddly enough. So his jam is he can. So the bard has their bardic performance that can inspire things. The skald has his raging song, which is he will be singing, but it is like a barbarian's rage in that it gives. Does it give just to allies, or do I get the plus as well.
You get it as well.
So if I start singing during a fight, it provides a +2 bonus to strength and to constitution, and +1 bonuses to will saves, but at a -2 penalty to armor class. The other caveat is that if you as an ally have when I start singing, choose whether to accept or reject the song. If you accept it, you get all those benefits too, and the armor class penalty, but you cannot do anything intelligence or charisma or concentration based during the song.
It's basically a barbarian that gets to spread their rage around.
So really,
So cool.
like spellcasters probably would opt out, but fighters might opt in. The other little thing he has is he's got a special power with his raging song called a lesser spirit totem. So when he is singing, there is a spirit that surrounds a spirit wisps that harass the foes. They make one slam attack each round against a living foe adjacent to the Scald. If you accept the benefits of my song, you also get the spirit totem that will do additional attacks. The spirit totem does.
Yeah, so say the entire party accepts the rage. That's 5 extra attacks per round on top of whatever else you're doing.
And that does 1d4 points of damage. Do they
Or
all
4.
get my charisma bonus?
Yeah.
So it would be 1d4 plus 3 points of damage. Yes, Katie.
So you couldn't flank with your own spirit totem because they're adjacent. But
There's nothing on the map. They're
Nothing on
they're
the
in the
map.
air. They're just in the air, flashing out.
Never mind.
And attacking. There's nothing there with which to flank.
And other things there are other things the rage will do as he levels up. Also has some spellcasting ability, some damagey, some battlefield control-y, and some interesting things like that. I think that's the stuff that will be crucial. Doesn't do nearly as much physical damage, does not have nearly as many hit points as Grip, and his armor class I'm looking right now is 13.
Yeah, I have saddled, both Robert and Johnny in their position where these characters just came from the island. So Barnabas has grabbed a spare human-sized saber that Skywin keeps lying around. He has taken some of the improvised padded armor that Danae left behind. He's got a crossbow. He's got an improvised club. But that's about it.
It makes me wonder if I'll even sing, because then that's a -2 to my already paltry armor class. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out.
Okay. I'm going to run Skywin for you unless anybody's dying to.
Do we know what Bates's business is?
Well, we're going to wait on Johnny's character here. We know that
Wow.
Bates has been working hard on learning how to fire the alchemical torch. He even has the prototype version in hand. But I'm going to come back to him later.
Okay.
So, are any of you dying to run Skywin, or shall I run Skywin?
I would like you to run Skyrim and to flank with me a lot.
Okay, great. Tell her to do that. I'm imagining, since you all are very suddenly having to learn new character sheets really quickly, I'm sure you don't need an extra character sheet to learn.
Yeah, that's
So,
hilarious.
I would like the group of you, even though Skywin's the captain of the ship, because this is your story, I would like the group of you as the players here to decide where everyone's going to be deployed. So let me take you to the map of the ship. Let me walk you around the Sullen Starling. The ship is 55 feet long, 25 feet wide. The cabin on the deck of the ship is 20 feet long and 15 feet wide, leaving only a 5-foot wide walkway for about half of the port and starboard sides of the ship. The cabin is about 8 feet tall, and the walls are lined with ropes and ladders, so it's an easy climb check to scamper up as part of a move. It's either DC 20 if you want to use 20 feet of move, or DC 5 if you want to use up only 10 feet of move. The captain's quarters are in the front part of the cabin. There are 2 doors, but they're both closed, and the port side one is always locked. The larger cabin behind it, back here, currently has its doors on both sides open because they were taking stuff in and out of there during the ritual of the evening. So it's currently very easy to pass through, but those doors could be closed if you like. The aft deck, the deck at the rear of the ship, is it's pretty small, pretty narrow, 25 feet wide, but only 10 feet deep. The foredeck is bigger. It's where tonight's festivities have been happening. 25 feet wide, 20 feet deep. That's where the hatch to below is. These 3 sturdy cross-hatched wooden panels. There's 3 of them, one port, one midship, and one starboard. All three will be barred from down below, but they are only made out of wood, and of course would only take so much damage before they break. The pier is off the starboard side of the ship, so the south side of your map there, with a plank running out to it near where the foredeck starts on that side. And the mast takes up a full square, right in front of the cabin. So the scum are coming from Crocus Hill, so from the aft of the ship, the west side of our map.
Is Crocus Hill, that's where we fought Trice?
Yep. That's where Lynn saw them coming from. It's very reasonable to assume that approaching on the port side of the ship would also be an easy approach. So basically, they're probably going to come from the west or the north of this side of our map, unless they get all sneaky and try to sneak under the ship and come from a different direction. Remember that this is a river vessel, more in lines of a barge. So it is a fairly easy scamper out of the water and up onto this deck, especially for an amphibious creature. You're not looking at a situation where they're going to have to scale 20 feet of giant sea vessel to get up there. All right. So as we start thinking about where you want to place folks, a bunch of you have some buffs at your disposal. I know a few of you might want to be doing some of those. I do need a perception check from all of you, these 4 new protagonists here.
Hey, I have a score.
For the first time. Is it in line with your spellcraft checks there?
It's so funny if you have a sense of humor about this sort of thing. I rolled a 2, so plus 13 for a perception check is 15.
So Dabbitt got a 15. What about Bates?
18.
Okay. And Stasi?
32.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa.
And I have to get used to these new names. And Barnabas?
18.
Interesting. Okay. So as this news happens and this flurry of activity of getting all of the refugees down below is going on, I'm imagining Dabwick is very in tune with the energy of civilized locations. They feel the flow of energy. They feel where energy is pinched off. They feel where energy is rotting. They feel where all the energy leads. And they might just be struck with a really unpleasant sense of a sudden burst of angry, dark energy flowing out of... It's not a city, but doesn't Dabwick think of any settlement as a city?
It's a city of
Capital
some...
C.
Yeah, it's a city of some form. It's burgeoning.
Yes. So out of this burgeoning city, Dabwick is sort of enmeshed in the strange energy coming off of it. And Barnabas... Okay, so Barnabas grew up in the World Wound, helping his parents fight off demon invasions. Mm-hmm. So I imagine this feeling of enemies been spotted, they're coming en masse, is probably something that he would remember from his childhood, that sense of we got 30 dretches approaching, get Barnabas to the rear, mom and dad step up front, all the cousins move in, and let Barnabas do his magic from behind the front lines. This sense of they're coming, they're approaching, we're about to get into battle is one that, and he hasn't felt this in quite some time, because he's been in Briarstone for quite a while. He does, however, because of those foxy eyes.
Oh, you.
Those silver fox eyes. See what I'm about to describe in a second here. So Stasi. Oh my god. So Stasi grew up in knife fights on the streets of Caliphus.
Yeah.
And I think he described her as sort of eternally stoic in approach to this fight is going to happen and this is what's going to go down. So I think that sense of the fight is on. It's probably a very familiar feeling to Stasi. So maybe she's not as thrown as Dabwick was.
She's always waiting for this.
Yeah, always waiting for the fight. So, Johnny.
Yes.
You took on some, in addition to things you can do with your character that are called traits, there are things you can do with your character that are called, what is it, drawbacks?
Yes, I did take a drawback with nothing in exchange.
Yeah, just out of the spirit of who the character is. And in the spirit of who we talked about this character is, we all know story-wise, even though we have not yet seen it, that Bates does experience seizures.
Yeah.
And standing up at the prow of the ship, doing his best to both be helpful with everybody going down below and staying out from underfoot, the tension here ratchets up. Maybe both Stasi and Barnabas catch sight in the flurry of activity of Bates as he begins this seizure, and we've only barely talked about this, Johnny, but to sort of fill in my sense of what's happening when he has these seizures, he starts to hear voices. Nothing as distinct as words, but an overwhelming outpouring of emotion. And it is these sensations that when they come over him are so overwhelming that at times he can't fight them off, and it does put him into a seizing position. And you do feel that in this period of prep and buffing before this fight begins. Barnabas and Stasi, you see Bates kind of extend a hand out towards these voices and then collapse at the prow of the ship. Now, I'm just going to share mechanically, Bates is going to be in this fight, but Bates is not going to be in this buffing and readjusting period. Bates is going to be at the prow of the ship as he seizes for about a minute here. But as that hand extends, Stasi and Barnabas, you see, the last thing we did that last episode was gather all of our handfuls of ash and ground gemstone and threw it into the air. We created this sort of mirror of the night sky, of these sparkling flecks in a sea of blackness. And then suddenly, Lynn's running up and we're all moving, but the air is very still out here. And as the people are getting down below, this cloud of ash has not dissipated. And both Stasi and Barnabas notice that. In fact, it is starting to compress into what they very nervously interpret as the beginnings of some sort of humanoid form. This cloud of ash is, as you're standing there,
of our regrets and dreams
and your hopes.
Wait a minute.
And your hopes.
I want to say at least that I think before Bates falls down,
okay,
he has his tiny alchemical torch, and he's going to at least try to get one shot off
on the ash monster.
I don't know. He's trying to look. He heard that there's scum. He's going to try to fire something.
Roll it up.
Helpful for us.
I mean, maybe he can hit something. I don't know. He's not going to just take this laying down. 20.
All right. Fires neatly through the cloud of ash into the mast of the ship, not damaging it, but it seems as though this thing does not quite yet have enough form or substance to it.
Is there a check to be made on it?
I can take...
Ooh, I can do checks.
I can take knowledge. Tell you what, if you've got them, give me Arcana and give me Religion.
That's right. I have no knowledge skills as this character.
Okay, what the two of you get for Arcana?
27.
20.
Okay. And what about Religion?
29.
I'm not as good at that one. Oh, but I rolled really well, so a 22.
So we're talking it out.
I don't know.
What do you
Does it
think
look
it
like to you?
I don't know. It looks like a big ash monster.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell here. I think with the information you have right now, I think the first guess they would jump to would be some sort of elemental creature.
Even with the 27?
Yeah, like some sort of... just because it's like currently forming.
Right.
So as we move along here, if it continues to form and change, I'm going to carry these really great rolls over as we move forward.
Okay.
I think your first guess would be this is probably some sort of elemental...
It doesn't... Well, just contextually,
Yeah.
it feels like we made this thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to... They're not going to have this big ritual for us to create something that then kills everybody on the ship. I mean, it feels like it. I don't think Stasi is too worked up about it.
Okay.
It feels like it's either here to help us or watch.
I buy that. And what is Barnabas thinking along the same lines there?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't think he feels threatened by it quite yet.
I mean, it's probably disturbing looking.
It's very disturbing looking.
And no one told us this would happen.
Barnabas is more concerned about the scum.
I am going to put what is forming there onto the map. So it is taking shape right above the center of the 3 hatches down to below decks. Just to give it a name, I called it Ash Spirit, but
I just want to say that Barnabas's token is Reynard, and it's awesome.
Matt Wahlquist art for the original Reynard appearance. Okay, so where do you want to place? Let's start with placement. Where do you think everybody is going to be best situated?
Stasi wants to be near Skywin, but so we think they're coming here and here, yeah?
That'd be your guess. Aft on the port side of the ship is the most direct route.
So Stasi is looking for flanking opportunities with people who are going to be in melee. So you kind of want to be central to where they're going to come up, but she wouldn't be shy about asking Skywin to stick close.
So it looks like Stasi's looking to set herself kind of in the port aft of the ship, right on the corner there. Skywin will go ahead and move her stealth like right to the front of the line on the back of the ship there. Only one 5-foot square separating her and Stasi at the moment. If that all feels good to the rest of you.
Just for me.
Mm-hmm.
Great. What are you thinking, Barnabas? Oh, let me put
Can we close this door?
Yes, absolutely. If you want those doors to close, go ahead. Lynn and Din, I think, unless you disagree, would choose to go up on top of the cabin so they can shoot down from up above. Yeah?
Sweet.
Lynn is above Skywin facing to the aft, and Din is above Stasi facing to the port.
Got it.
Great. What about... Oh, Joshua... Joshua will go up there too. So Joshua will go up next to Din. So we've got 2... no, he'll take the corner position. All right. There we go.
Are there any other flankers?
I mean, I technically can. I don't know how melee I want to be right now.
That's what I'm asking.
With your nothing
with
armor
my
class.
13 armor class that will probably go down to 11 because I'm probably going to sing because it's the first time.
You're not going to sing. I mean...
What about old Dabs?
I mean, this poor kid just fell right in front of where this Ash Spirit is forming and everyone ran away. So, I'm going to go to his side.
Stay close to Bates?
Stay close to base. Now, taking a quick look around, does it look like there might be a thunderstorm coming?
There is a thunderstorm developing out over the lake.
But probably not going to be here for another minute or so.
You don't expect that you would be underneath rainfall, but you can do the
thing.
The normal thing.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let me know when we're in time for prep.
So, Barnabas, you're placing yourself on the foredeck as well, is that right? Or are you...
Yeah, I'm going to stay... I'm not going to move closer to the quote-unquote Ash Spirit, but I am going to stay here because I'm not sure...
You look like you're getting ready to leave the boat.
I'm not going to run away, but I'm also not going to run right to the front. So I'm going to be right here and see what happens.
Okay. So we'll assume like the first half minute here, it's all about the figuring out where you're going to deploy. Now let's have a little chat here about what buffs you might want to put on yourselves or others. As you finish that conversation about where we should set up, this like cloud of ash is definitely taking a recognizable humanoid shape, and it is reaching out with one hand extended towards Thrushmoor. You as players would understand this thing is gesturing towards Lelwyn's house, towards the new chapel, like directly through Crocus Hill off to where the other scene is and has been happening.
Does Skywin see this? Does she seem alarmed by this thing?
Yes, she does not know what it is, but sort of seeing you and Stasi both kind of go, I don't know what it is, but it seems unlikely that it's harmful since we made it. She's focused. She's getting down to business. Got a ship to protect.
Okay.
It's definitely not something I was expecting to appear out of the we've never had an ash spirit form after this sort of ritual before.
Great.
Oh, I thought maybe this was expected.
And also by this point, there is this sound. You feel like you're, yeah.
I was going to say, I think that Bates is actually like moaning and, and like whispering and moaning. Like he's not, it's uncomfortable what's happening to him.
Yeah, very painful to watch, upsetting to watch this child seizing on this deck. And there's now starting to be some sound associated with this, as it almost looks like time is flowing backward for this. Instead of this ash dispersing, you see ash getting like sucked back into a central point, and you start to hear this like sounds that we in the modern era would associate with sounds being run backward, essentially. Like something is getting wound up or reversed or unknown at this point still. And this is still not, even with those amazing checks that the two of you made, this is still not anything you can put your finger on at this moment yet. Let's talk about buffs. What are your buff plans?
Stasi is going to cast Hedging Weapons.
Ooh, tell us about this.
A floating dagger of force appears in the air around her. It's going to give her a little boost to her armor class, and at any point during the spell she can throw it as force damage, which would be great for the other party
fight.
That's facing something incorporeal probably. Mm-hmm. But she's not there. But it does look like a Pharasman dagger.
Excellent. And any other buffs for her?
She's not going to buff, but she is going to cast Detect Evil. She can do at will and sort of concentrate on it until the scum appear. Just try to get a little boost on their appearance.
Great. I love it. What about Barnabas?
Nothing to start with. I think as soon as it looks like combat is starting, I think he is going to sing.
Yeah.
He does have one little buff that's kind of fun, that's just always on. It's a campaign trait called Twitchy. It just gives him he's very nervous, and so he gets a +2 to initiative and a +1 to reflex saves because he's twitchy.
That's fun.
Stasi is also going to cast Resistance.
Great.
On herself.
You want to pass that around to...
Yeah.
There would certainly be time to pass that around to all the
everybody.
halflings if you wish to.
Yep.
Wow, this is a majority halfling fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow, that's our first for us in this campaign here.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. What about Dabwick?
How many rounds are we talking about here? Got it.
Up to a minute, really, but, if you're sort of focused on helping Bates, let's say, 3 or 4.
So, I want to put a sheltering wall around Bates, if I can. This is a spell-like ability that I have. I can summon a floating blockade of stone, granting your ally the benefits of partial cover for 1 round, so probably not until close to they start arriving.
Yeah.
Definitely want to cast Coal Lightning.
Oh, tell us about Call Lightning. Enter Druid.
Right, so it takes a round to cast. Immediately upon completion of the spell and once per round thereafter, you can call down a 5-foot wide, 30-foot long vertical bolt of lightning that deals 3d6 points of electricity damage.
Worth waiting to be a 5th level druid
Yeah.
just to cast Call Lightning.
So that will just go for the rest of this fight. Anytime you want to use a standard action to call a bolt down, Apollo, you can do that. It'll be 3d6 damage with a reflex save for half.
Got it.
Awesome. And then we'll sort of assume like maybe some of that happens first, and that near the end of this period, you're kind of readying your blockade spell in case something happens to Bates.
Yes, and I'm going to cast as well bark skin. In this case, it's slate skin. It looks more like
Nice.
slate than bark.
Sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks.
awesome.
So we're passing around resistances. We're passing around buff spells. We're talking about what the plan here is going to be. Stasi sinks in to focus in on the approach of evil from the aft of the ship. And then up on the front of the ship, where Barnabas and Dabwick are, there is suddenly this eruption of a tearing sound at the heart of this ash creature. And there's this hollow rush of wind, and again it sounds like it's flowing backwards, so it's like, and this ash shape explodes explodes in all directions as a rush of wet, slimy, silvery goo comes erupting out of the center of the shape, like where the shape's heart was, spilling out onto the deck. Bates sits bolt upright as this pile of silvery goo stiffens and rises up, piling and molding into the solid but translucent, you can see right through it, bluish, silveryish goo form of an immediately recognizable Braden Vaticus.
Oh my God.
His eyes are wide, and he's stretching his hand towards Crocus Hill, and he's talking backwards, holding his Morning Star in one hand. And it's immediately recognizable that even though he's composed entirely of ectoplasm, that there are no scars on his skin, there is no rot on his skin, as Johnny tells us what Bates is.
Yeah.
Bates is a gunslinger with a little spiritualist.
Tell us what the spiritualists do.
The spiritualists summon a phantom, and in this case,
amazing.
that phantom is Ray.
We've been talking about what these seizures are that Bates has been having. He's a doorway.
Yeah.
He is a medium. His whole life.
He sees dead people.
Yes.
He sees dead
He
people.
literally sees dead people. His whole life, the dead have been knocking at his heart, trying to erupt back into the world. And at this moment, as Ray dies, Ray comes into existence in this ectoplasmic form, standing protectively over Bates, talking backwards and still just energy focused to the northeast there. The two of you now recognize what you're looking at. You're looking at a phantom, and this is going to be deeply troubling for Stasi.
Yeah.
Not because Braden is undead, because Braden is not undead.
Yeah.
Braden just tore his soul back
Yeah,
from
that's a
the
problem.
river
That's a
onto
problem.
the plane.
Yeah.
This is in direct violation of the natural order of things.
Yeah.
So this Ray is not. Yeah.
You said Braden took the soul back. It was Bates who took the soul back.
Braden came back.
He chose to come back.
Because as his backwards talking finally aligns with the forward flow of time, he's saying, No, I was going to be such a help. I had so much help to give. And his voice is echoing off the hillside as Stasi feels the approach of evil. Everybody roll initiative.
None of this was planned until, like, literally,
Like
20 minutes ago.
Yeah. That's so cool, guys.
literally when you were saying what you were saying at the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
All right, so I think what I'm going to do, because we've got a lot of combatants here and a lot of combatants approaching, I think I'm going to use Katie's decision to have Stasi casting your sense out for the detection of evil, which would go 60 feet, but they're coming from underwater. I think what it's going to do is going to buy every single one of you a surprise round. You can use that to do a thing, start a buff, cast a spell, ready in action, whatever you want to do. And Stasi would know where the closest bunch are. So, as Stasi is, I think for the sake of people's brains, especially Katie's, because I know she gets frustrated, I'm going to stop saying aft and port and starboard. I'm just going to simply say north, south, east, and west.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So if you want to picture this boat, aft is to the west, port is to the north, etc. So Stasi is facing like basically directly northwest. And she picks up the approach of two scum coming from the north side of the aft of the ship. So there's two coming roughly from over here. And then she does pick up one coming directly at the north of the ship from sort of like midway along the north line there. So two right from behind, one coming along the side of the ship from a rear angle. So Bates, in this round, you've come back to you have this phantom standing over you. Its attention seems to be focused elsewhere, but you do feel this profound connection with him as he stands there. What do you think Bates does in this surprise round here?
I mean, the power gamer in me wants him to buff him, but I think that he wouldn't do. I think that he would just be trying to figure out literally what is happening right now. I think that he would probably be trying to talk to me, going, "Mr. Ray, why are you here?
So much help to give.
You gonna help us?"
Yes.
Okay, help us.
And you see the phantom.
Maybe he does try to touch him. And
Okay.
do a little. He'll cast a spell. He'll cast a
psychic spell.
A psychic spell. He's gonna say, "Help us!" And he reaches out to grab him.
Yeah.
And he touches his hand. He touches a Horflame.
Yeah.
And Horflame glows as he has just cast Magic Fang.
So the phantom mechanically has natural weapons, even though it appears to be holding, like, the Phantom of Ray has manifested Horflame exactly as Dora described it in the original vision, like not broken, not covered in gore, but whole and solid. Yeah, so Bates reaches out and seems to instinctively understand that he can help.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
It's the sort of thing where I think that, like, he touches him and it's that emotional, like, bond of, like, I want to help you help us kind of thing, but it's not like it's like a two-way thing. It's like a conduit where it's going back and forth between them, like a doorway, like a...
This desire to help is spilling between them.
Yeah.
I love it. Stasi, what you doing this surprise round?
Can you ready?
You can.
I'll ready an attack on anything that lands adjacent to me.
Love it. Din will ready a shot. Skywin will make the same action. So now, basically, the two that are approaching from the west are kind of on a path. This is fun.
Yeah.
So, I set up the direction where they'd come from without, well before we started this evening, and they're going to basically come up right between Stasi and Skywin, it looks like. Lynn readies a shot back in the same direction. Barnabas. So while Robert's thinking, Paul, what does Dabwick do in the surprise round here?
Since we've got the time and the battlefield control abilities, I'm going to cast another spell.
Great.
Over the course of the next round, so
it's the third level spell.
Yeah. How would you describe this happening on the ship?
Is this the first third level spell that's been cast?
No, because I'm cast
second. Call lightning.
Call lightning.
Jeez.
Yes, we're finally into a full spellcasting class here. Yeah. So I think, see if this feels right, Paul.
Yeah.
So Dabwick had been preparing this wall that they can summon to protect Bates, and as they quickly become aware that this being that's appearing is not going to harm Bates, in fact they seem to be in some sort of emotional bond, they turn around, summon this wall, and instead of being a vertical surface, it is a horizontal surface right above the deck of the ship, which looks like cobblestones in a city, and then they snap their fingers and they shatter into a swarm of rubble out onto the deck.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
So it is now a 10-foot by 10-foot colossal swarm,
like living rubble
of shattered, animated cobble and flagstones. Like just like swirling around and smashing into each other all over the deck of the ship and coming in. The corners are tight on this ship here, so it comes in like right next to Dabwick, right next to Bates, right next to Braden, and that's where it appears.
Amazing.
And Barnabas.
Yeah, so I'm in a party full of people who are not relying on strength for their combat.
In fact, the only character at this table is Grip.
I am not able to get into combat, so it doesn't even benefit me. Which I'm not going to lie, has me having some serious doubts about the effectiveness of this character.
Just technically speaking, Stasi is still at a level where she is using her strength for damage. And also, if she accepts it, then she gets this extra attack per round. Skywin won't be hurt by having strength go up. Like, she's using her...
But are any of them charisma or concentration based? You know
Skywin's not going to cast any spells. And you know Stasi can make the choice to not take it in a round if she wants to cast a spell.
Can people choose it round by round?
I think it says that. Like, read the very bottom of the ability.
Troubling.
If a raging song affects allies, when the Skald begins a raging song, and at the start of each ally's turn in which they can hear the raging song, the Skald's allies must decide whether to accept or refuse its effects.
Great.
And that's not an action.
Great.
Unconscious allies automatically accept the song. If accepted, the raging song's effects last for that ally's turn or until the song ends, whichever comes first.
Which means if you drop, his spirits keep attacking.
Yeah.
It's very cool. The Phantom obviously would take this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna Barnabas starts singing the ballad of Bassanio and Persephone.
Yeah.
And it is a stirring song of which I have no lyrics at this time. And then that will be what he does for his surprise round.
Nice. And then at the end of this round, unawares that they are known, their position is known. Indeed, 2 scum do crawl over the rail at the end of the ship, one right next to Skywin that is very tall and lanky, and one next to Stasi that's got this wicked scar across its face. And then you see Stasi, a third one coming up the side of the... So you've got 2 coming up the side right next to you. One's still in the water. This is one who, as he's swimming out of the water with his trident, you see him like wincing as though his shoulder is in pain. Mm-hmm. But this is a whole bunch of ready actions going off here. So let's start with Stasi. Both 2 and 3 would be attackable. 2 has gotten up on... It's like moving up onto the deck this round.
I think she would go for 2.
Great.
She lashes out with her magical dagger. It's a 13 against flat-footed.
That's a hit.
Great. For just 3 damage with the blade, but then...
Yeah, you get the sneak attack. It has not taken an action in this combat and was not aware that everyone was waiting for it.
An additional 11.
14 points of damage to the scar-faced scum. Skywin attacks the other one, the tall one. Hitting armor class 32. She's going to kick some ass.
This will be a pleasure.
For 18 points of damage, nearly killing that one in a single blow. Go
Skywin.
Swashbuckler.
All right, so now Stasi is in love with Skywin too.
Joshua, Lynn, and Din are going to take their shots. Lynn will shoot at the tall one. Hit.
Killing it?
Killing it.
Yeah. Nice.
First scum has dropped. Joshua shoots at the scar-faced one. Missing. Din shoots at the one in the water below Stasi. And hitting.
Yeah.
For 1 point of damage.
Every little bit helps.
It does all help. We know what Dabwick did. Dabwick was summoning. Bates was casting a spell. Barnabas was starting to sing. Well, now we're really at the top of round 1. So here we go. It begins. Stasi, you're up first. Let us know if you want to use the benefits of the song or not.
It still hasn't acted yet, right? So it's still flat-footed to me?
That is correct.
Then I don't want to use the benefits of the song. And I'll attack it again.
Attacking the scar-faced one right next to you.
The same one I attacked before.
Yep.
23 against flat-footed.
Oh, yeah.
16.
16 points of damage. Right through the heart. And the second scum drops. You got a move action or just move action left.
She's going to take a 5-foot step to the east.
Towards the front of the ship.
Yeah, to try to lure him into position where he can be flanked with Skywind.
You're essentially leaving the rail clear.
Yes, so that he can pop right there and Skywind can be like, hi.
Love it. Bates and Braden are up.
Bates is still holding on to Braden.
Yeah.
And he continues to feel that conduit of magical energy flowing back and forth them. And he casts Mage Armor.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
On who?
On Braden.
Braden.
Nice.
And he says, "Well, go help, Mr. Ray."
Oh, God. Okay. So, Braden. Does Braden accept the Raging Song?
He does.
Yeah, there we go.
In this moment, I think that he absolutely hears this song, the song of Bassanio and Persephone, and he wants to help.
All right, the passage is currently blocked by a gigantic rubble swarm, but he can head towards the back of the ship down by the starboard side.
Does he fly?
He does not fly.
He does not fly.
No.
5.
And he's made of ectoplasm right now, so he is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is solid. He's physically here.
Okay. He's a flanker?
He's a flanker, 100%, with gigantic armor class and massive hit points.
That's really
There you go.
good.
So he is, and he can take a full move.
Yeah, big double move. Yeah. Oh my God. The Phantom of Braden Vaticus.
This is unbelievable.
His weapon charged up, his body glowing with magical armor, joins Skywind at the rear of the ship.
Dora was so close to being a spiritualist.
Oh, nice.
500 years ago when we started this.
We were talking about Bates being a spiritualist when I first talked about wanting to use him.
Yes. We are in... This is the fourth plan?
Yeah.
Because knowing that the whole class's jam is he's going to take a Phantom on, we've been adapting our plans every time something happens.
Yeah.
So will the Phantom always be Ray now?
The Phantom is Ray, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like anytime you do this in the future.
Yeah, it's
I
a
have no idea.
It's a one-on-one
That's an excellent question.
connection, isn't it?
They are bonded together now. Like,
This is the one
Bates
he
is the
chose to
door
let live.
through which Ray returned.
So Ray's your
Familiar.
your Phantom familiar secret weapon
Or Bates is Ray's door
Yeah.
back to this world.
to still help somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet, Johnny.
Din is up. Din's going to take a shot on the wincing scum that's emerging next to Stasi. No good. Skywind. Let's see. She's expecting more to come. Yeah?
Bates would also follow.
Great.
He would. I'm sorry.
You can take
It's
one
the
move action.
Yeah, he would take one move action, but this is the first time playing two characters at once. I'm like, okay, this is different. All right. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, Skywind let's see. Skywind is going to leap over the corpse of the tall scum, mount herself atop the fallen body of the scar-faced scum, leaving an empty hole there between her and Stasi in case this wincing scum tries to come up between them. And we'll stab down towards the wincing scum with her... Natural one. Okay, so Skywind was...
You win some, you lose some.
Yes, that's right. Lynn takes a shot at the same one. Boom, hit. 4 points of damage from the tiny little crossbow. Dabwick at the front of the ship with a giant rubble swarm. That rubble swarm can go either before you or after you, or you can keep it hanging out for the moment as just sort of waiting there to protect the...
Does it flank?
No, swarms never flank. Right now, it's in a protective position above the...
No, loving it.
Above the...
Not complaining
the
at
hatches.
all.
It's great.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect placement.
Yeah.
And Dabwick's got a good view of what's going on, too. So, out of nowhere, a bolt of lightning comes down on Scum 3.
Oh, hang on 1 second. I think you have to concentrate on the swarm to keep it around, right? That's a standard action every round. Then once you stop concentrating, I think it lasts 2 more rounds. But once you make that decision to stop concentrating, then you're on a timer.
Got it.
So if you feel like it's in a good position right now to keep it going, you can use your standard action to keep it going. Or else if you're like, let's give it 2 rounds, I want to start blasting shit with lightning bolts, that is also totally fair.
So let me rephrase what you just said in my own words and
Yeah.
see if I understand correctly. I can say this is where I'm going to leave the swarm for the next 2 rounds and do other things. No.
First decision you have to make.
Yeah.
Do you continue concentrating on the swarm to keep it here?
Yes.
Okay. Then that's your standard action this round.
Okay, great.
Once you say no to that question, then the swarm will have 2 more rounds.
Before it disappears,
right.
not just leaves that spot.
Got it.
But you can indefinitely continue to concentrate
To keep it there.
to keep it there.
Yeah.
At the expense of calling lightning.
At the expense of.
Yeah.
Or moving it around, can't you?
Yeah, you can move
Yes,
around.
you can move it.
Okay, so you have a move action if you want to move anywhere, or if you feel like at this moment you're hunkering down with your stone swarm.
Yeah, I got my stone swarm and my call lightning ready to rock.
Love it. Barnabas, you're up. Also at the front of the ship, on the other end of the hatch heading down into the below decks.
So it's a swift action to maintain the song.
Yep.
The concentration, like the limitations of things that can be done under this rage, do not apply to the Scald. I mean,
Right.
the armor class does, but not the other things.
Yep.
So, take the swift action, maintain the song. I can then cast another spell while the song is going.
Yep.
All right then.
You
Well-
begin to see the benefit.
Well, Barnabas, he cannot see anything right now. He cannot see a single enemy at the moment. So, he's going to move. He's going to see what's going on the other side of the foxhole here. Foxhole.
Hey-o.
He's a fox. It's how you pronounce forecastle. Oh my God, the hits keep on coming. So he's going to do that 25. He's going to move like 25 feet to the west. Actually, he's going to make that 30 feet because he needs to see what's going on. Wow. Okay.
Great. So both Barnabas and Bates are making their way along the south side of our map here, the south side of the cabin towards the after the ship, towards the west of the ship, where
And
the
so
scum are coming from.
he still can't really see anything. Some corpses, which is good. Then I guess he'll
Dead scum.
he's going to take he'll end his turn with just another little bit of movement, and so now he can see, and that's all he can do.
Excellent. The scum are up. Indeed, the harvest must be enacted. Scum number 3 is going to regret the shit out of this. That climbs over the side of the ship between Stasi and Skywin. That provokes. Let's start with Stasi.
Okay. So +2 for flanking.
Yep.
Plus 17.
What do you know? That strikes true.
Does it? That's
17.
Great. That's another character's problem.
Oh.
It's the same player though.
Oh my god.
Was it a weak blow?
That's 6 damage. I rolled a natural 4 on the weapon damage and 2 1s
Oh, man.
on the sneak attack.
Don't worry.
But I do get the
Yeah.
precise strike because
You do.
Skywin is there. So that's an extra 6.
Oh.
So that's 12.
Nice. And then Skywin's attack hits, and I can't imagine she won't clobber it. Yeah, that's total Constitution death right there. Yeah. Okay.
Not a good place to be between
No.
a sneak attacking knife master,
I'm gonna-
inquisitor, and a swashbuckler.
I'm going to play these scum like they do not know they're fighting superheroes, because they do not know that.
Yeah.
Closer to the front of the ship, a scum wearing a necklace made of human ears emerges and finds itself face to face with a fucking rubble swarm. That's where it ends its move. We have the appearance of another one in a very similar situation. However, this one, with only one eye, emerges onto the deck, not only adjacent to the rubble swarm, but right next to Dabwick, who is concentrating on this swarm.
I still can't see anything. I managed to move. If I'd stayed where I was, I would see what's happening now. Now I'm back to another blind spot.
It's so true. And then another scum that is purple in color instead of greenish appears also right next to Dabwick. So it seems as though wave 2 of the scum actually swung out a little bit to the east towards the front of the ship, and they're piling up on the front of the ship as though they maybe know that the hatch to where all that tasty food is on this part of the ship. But that is moves on all of their parts. Let me track a little bit of movement for more scum here. That would go there. This would go. Okay, great. That's the end of round 1. Top of round 2, Stasi, we pick back up. You have a dead scum between you and Skywin, but you're seeing, down the side of the ship here, you're seeing many more scum emerging closer to the front, and you've got one 10 feet away from you. Oh, hang on. I've got one that I didn't put on the right layer.
Yeah.
Put on the right layer. That should
Yeah,
look a little
there
scarier
you
to
go.
you, Paul. There we go.
Oh, yeah. What
Yes,
is
thank
the
you.
deal with the swarm?
Don't go through it.
Yeah.
Is it like you're just in a big rock tumbler?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't want to do that, but also don't just want to walk up to a thing and do 1 damage.
How are your acrobatics and climbing
Good.
and stuff? Great.
Acrobatics is good. Climb.
Okay, well, you've
But-
got this cabin is only 8 feet tall. You know, I laid out that the climb checks are very easy. The acrobatics checks would be a little bit higher, but very doable for an acrobat. You could try to pop up on the cabin and jump
Yeah.
off to the front of the ship if you wanted to.
Yeah. Would love to do that.
Give me an acrobatics check.
10.
DC 10.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The climb check is DC 0 or 5, and the acrobatic, because it's, it's covered in ropes. It's covered in
Yeah.
ladders. It is very easy to.
Do it.
Stasi swings herself up on top of the cabin with a little stoic nod at Lynn, Din, and Joshua, continues on her way. Give me an acrobatics check to leap down the front.
15.
Perfect. Landing on her feet at the front of the ship on the other side of the rubble swarm, kind of basically where Barnabas just left from.
I love her.
All right, so bounding and leaping over the top of the cabin there. Next is Bates. Bates and Braden.
I think that Bates is going to continue his movement around. So he's going to follow around to catch up to Braden Vaticus, Phantom at Large.
The rear end of the ship.
Yep. And he sees he's like, I missed all the action.
And there's nothing happening here on the back.
Where did the action go?
Sorry.
So far, it's a promenade deck.
It's where we came from.
I think so. I don't know.
Braden, we got to go. And he's going to hop up onto the deck there, climb, do a little check to climb up on there and see if he can.
Great. You want acrobatics?
Yeah, can I do acrobatics instead?
absolutely.
Okay. Oh my! Wow. Bates got a 30
Oh.
in acrobatics.
So
Wow.
this was just the start of Bates' move, right?
Yep.
Bates could essentially do what Stasi did and with another acrobatics check to leap down, land on the deck of the front of the ship, or if Bates wants to stay up on top of the cabin and fire from up there, also an option.
Do I have any more movement? Would I be able
Yes.
to get? Okay,
Where do
then
you
I
wanna
would.
land?
Then I would probably try to land here.
Okay, so Bates bounds up on top of the cabin, races across to the point from which Stasi leapt down, but stays there up top with the prototype alchemical torch. What does Braden Vaticus do?
As he moves, he reloads because he's able to do that.
And he is not a steel hound. He's an entirely different kind of gunslinger type.
That is correct. He is a black powder vaulter.
What's Braden do?
Braden is going to follow him up.
Using climb or acrobatics?
He's going to use acrobatics. Why not?
Okay.
Oh no. He's stymied by that.
How badly?
He rolled a natural 1 and got a 4.
All right, so he uses a move action and fails to make any progress.
And he will probably try again. This whole thing
Like
of...
a dogged phantom.
Yeah, like a dogged phantom. He's still wearing his armor. And it does make it difficult for him to
Yes,
climb.
he's always had trouble with climb checks.
There you go. How about an 8?
Nope.
He
DC
really
10.
is having difficulties.
DC 10. All right, Braden, stymied.
It's like you're trying to identify a magic item.
So in character still from
my
beyond
God.
the grave.
Din takes a 5-foot step closer towards the front of the ship, reloads his crossbow, and fires on the scum with the necklace of ears. Missing. Skywin is up. Skywin bounds forward to close with the ear necklace scum. Hey! 18 on the die, which is a critical threat for
What
her.
is she? Yeah.
My God. Yeah, critical hit. 24 points of damage, killing it.
I knew it was okay to leave that one there.
Yeah. Skywin cleaned up, is leaving a wrath of corpses behind her. Lynn is going to move to the front of the cabin. So Lynn is standing now right next to Bates, shoulder to shoulder with Bates, and reloads. Dabwick. Okay, now you're in a position here. So you've got 2 scum threatening you.
Yes.
One that is purple to the east of you, one that has a single eye to the north of you. you've got a full complement of actions here, as does your rubble swarm.
Right.
But you do have to make that decision. Are you going to continue to concentrate, or are you going to let go of the concentration and just give it 2 more rounds to do its business?
Can you ping for me on the map where the entrance to the non-combatants are hiding?
Do you see these hatches right here?
Yeah.
All 3 of those squares. One of them is now underneath the rubble swarm.
Okay.
So the rubble swarm is very protectively actually right on top of one of those.
Sure. Yeah. So, maintaining his concentration, Ray would be able to move the rubble swarm.
Dabwick?
Sorry. Oh, shit.
I know.
Yeah, when you say, Braden, what do you do?
I know.
I'm like, ugh. All right. As long as Dabwick maintains their concentration on the rubble swarm, they can move it as a move action.
Yeah, so it is animated stones that you do have to actually use your own will and effort and energy to direct.
Right, so confronted by these scum, Dabwick takes a defensive step backwards, a 5-foot step backwards, and concentrates the swarm of rubble over on top of their squares.
Jeez.
All right, so you're going to use your standard action to continue concentrating and a move action to move the swarm? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay,
yeah.
Great. Boom. All right.
Yeah, I have to uncover non-combatants.
Yeah, you do have to uncover the hatch for the moment to swarm over these 2 scum. All right, so they both are going to be subject to the swarm attack.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll damage for old One Eye here. But what happens is any living creature that takes damage from the swarm attack is potentially nauseated for a round unless it makes a fortitude save to negate the effect. So how much damage do you do to old One Eye?
2.
Nice. And how much damage to Mr. Purple?
5.
Excellent. They both got to make fortitude saves. Yeah, good fucking luck. All right. They are both nauseated and can do nothing next turn except take a single move action.
Nice.
And then Barnabas.
Barnabas is here
Way at the back of the ship.
back of the ship, realizing he can't see anything, so he's going to go back to the other end of the ship while he's singing. Okay, now he can see some things. So, does he have a sense between One Eye and Old Purple? Does one look more robust than the other? Is that something he can ascertain?
Barnabas comes around the corner to the front of the ship to see 2 scum enveloped in a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot, like,
So they're both enveloped.
insanity storm of screaming and flying and cracking rubble. They're both screaming in pain. Ain't no way you can tell the difference here.
It seems silly to waste a spell on the pile of rocks, so I'm not going to do that. Just going to sit there and go, okay, well, it seems to be in hand. I'll have to wait until something else happens.
Do you want to get a crossbow out? So at least you've got a ranged weapon in hand.
Yeah, I guess I probably should. I'll do that. I'll swap cutlass for crossbow.
I missed Joshua's turn. I think he was busy reloading that turn. All right. Scum. Number 5, old One Eye, stuck in the swarm. Can't do anything but a single move action. Gonna get out of the swarm. And then moves, trident in hand, 5 feet to get adjacent to Dabwick, hoping that if Dabwick moves this insane ruckus of flagstones, they might be close enough to Dabwick to not be stuck in the middle of it. Purple is going to do the same. The center of the back of the ship, a hunchbacked scum emerges from the water. Only one back there now is the Braden Phantom and Joshua facing off from the top of the cabin there. Right next to it, the dead center of the back of the ship, another scum, this one pale gray in color. One emerges. Oh God, it's so fucking dead. 10 feet away from Skywin. This one's got bloodshot eyes and an angry look about it. And then finally coming from the extreme front edge of the ship, we've got one with these weird glassy eyes emerging right next to the purple one, so also threatening Dabwick. And then one crawls out of the water right adjacent to Barnabas and Stasi, and this scum is very disturbingly laughing. That's their moves. And round 2, we start at the top of round 3. So now the fight is thickening on the front part of the ship, and there are now multiple scum on the back of the ship. Stasi's standing right next to Barnabas.
Barnabas just dropped his cutlass.
Sure did.
I didn't. Did I drop? I thought I
You had to move to get there, right?
What's Dabwick holding?
Dabwick is holding a Darkwood quarterstaff.
Can Stasi tumble 15 feet directly north, or is there something there now that I can't see because of the mast?
There's a scum there.
Okay. Can I tumble to here?
What's your move speed?
30.
That's more than you can move, having to move at half speed tumbling.
Oh, because those are 2 diagonals. I can't go through the mast.
You cannot get to the mast. I'll say this. If you want to risk a DC 20 acrobatics check, you can vault off of the mast. And with that, also succeeding at another acrobatics check to avoid the attacks of opportunity from the 2 scum you'd be landing in between to try to get that extra 5 feet of distance from the leverage.
Obviously, that is what I want to do.
All right. If you don't get this first DC 20, that is a full move action and you're right where you are.
I'm not going to get it. But I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Do it.
Nope.
All right.
So fuck it. I will attack the scum next to me.
The laughing scum. The scum
laughing
harassing Barnabas.
I'm confident that a 10 misses.
A 10 does indeed
Yeah.
miss. Maybe a little disturbed by you probably bonked your head a little bit on
Yeah.
that mast as you pretty
Like,
spectacularly
utterly
failed to do
failed
this
to do-
incredibly acrobatic
So
move.
glad I put those 2 ranks in acrobatics.
Bates is up. Bates is standing directly above Stasi now. Got a good line of sight on the laughing scum, the glossy-eyed scum, the purple scum, the one-eyed scum, and the scum with bloodshot eyes.
He sees that one-eyed scum, and he's like, "You're mine." He takes aim with his alchemical torch, his tiny, tiny, tiny alchemical torch, and fires off a shot.
And is the distance such that you're attacking against touch?
It's still against touch. It's
Great.
15 feet. That's a 19
That's a hit.
for 8 points of damage.
Nice. You shot a scum in the leg.
And then he will reload as a move action. And Braden Vaticus takes a 5-foot step.
Right. Now threatening 2 scum, the pale gray one and the hunchbacked one.
Yep. And he is going to attack the pale gray scum.
Yes. Finish him. He hasn't been attacked yet.
And he is going to make 2 mighty attacks. Oh, a 25.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's going to be for, 11 points of damage.
Oh, my
Creepers.
goodness.
And then he's going to do another one. 19
That's a hit.
for 5 points of damage.
Fantastic. So Braden moves in and just smash with the phantom form of Horflame.
It's a purity. It's like a real pure focus.
Yes.
Unclouded with insecurities and
Yes.
vulnerabilities. And
This is the Braden who can give all the help that he wanted to give.
yeah.
Is the Phantom wearing the phylactery?
No. The Phantom does not need the guidance of
Any deity.
Shaylin.
Yeah.
Din takes a shot on Bloodshot Eyes. Nope, reloads. Skywind's up. Skywind saw what you were trying to do there, Stasi.
Did Skywind take the song?
Remind me the benefits?
+2 to strength and constitution, a +1 bonus to will saves, -1 to armor class, and cannot do basically spells, charisma things, concentration things.
And we haven't been
Oh,
doing...
and you get the spirit totem.
Right, so... Yeah, let's rewind a quick second here. Because the Braden Phantom has accepted the thing.
Yes.
So there
Yeah.
should have been an attack from your spirits during his turn. Go ahead and roll that up.
That's 5 points of negative energy damage.
You got a hit though, right? You gotta make an attack roll.
And I'm like, why are you rolling
No, he
D4?
just, that's how it works. He just gets to do
I
the damage.
have to make an attack.
I'm afraid it just happens, Rob. I don't know what to say.
Spirit totem attack.
Savior.
A 10.
Okay. Well, this is the first time these spirits are emerging and starting to launch their attacks. You know what? Barnabas would have had the opportunity to explain to Skywyn what this stuff does. Skywyn's going to take it. And Skywyn is going to tumble up the deck of the ship, getting real close to that rubble swarm, tumble right in the middle of Bloodshot Eyes and Old One Eye, so that her flanking partner can possibly get in there the next round. Let's see if she succeeded in her acrobatic check. Good fucking luck, scum. Natural 1. Oh,
No.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. What is the...
What
Can
happens?
she fail it?
Oh, no. Total success. Okay. She's on a natural 1, she still succeeds.
That's just how much of a superhero she is.
So she lands there and takes a stab back at old Bloodshot Eyes. Ooh, boy, her luck is running out. Oh, that's still a hit.
Is it?
Yeah. For 16 points of damage.
Oh my gosh.
And then one of the spirits lash out at the very same one.
That's a 21
That's a hit.
for 6 points of negative energy damage.
And the spirits drag Bloodshot Eyes to hell.
Hey.
Lynn takes a shot on... Boy, so Lynn's looking down at Dabwick right now. Once again, swarmed by scum. Now there are 3 scum around Dabwick. 2 of them are flanking them. Let's see. Lynn's going to take a shot on the glossy-eyed one of the ones that just emerged over the side of the boat. Nope. Reload. Joshua is going to shoot down at the one that Brayden has been pounding on at the back of the ship. Nope. Reloads. Dabwick, you are up. Okay, so you've got 2 scum flanking. You've got another one adjacent to you. And you've got your giant rubble swarm occupying basically the rest of the front of the deck of the ship here. Now it's tricky to move it, because anywhere it goes, it's going to be going over either you or Skywyn. What do you want to do this turn?
Well, actually, I think I will incur an attack of opportunity if needed to take a step back and then move Rubble Swarm south on top of the...
Dabwick, can you move here instead?
I can, yeah.
So Dabwick takes a diagonal step back and simply rolls this mob of stones over the purple scum and the glossy-eyed scum. Go ahead and roll damage on purple scum.
Purple Scum takes 6 points of damage. Needs to make another fortitude save.
All right, 6 points of damage. Got it. And then over glossy eyes.
4 points.
Nice. Let me make some fortitude saves. Nope. Okay. Glossy eyes saves, but purple is nauseated.
Great.
And we get to Barnabas. So after several rounds running back and forth to try to find the fight, suddenly Barnabas is
in the
right
middle
in
of
the
it.
middle of it. So you're adjacent to one scum, standing there with a ranged weapon. You've got Dabwick and Stasi right next to you as well. Multiple ranged attackers right above your head on the cabin, standing right above you. What do you do?
If I wanted to take a 5-foot step, could I have the spirit totem do its attack while I'm adjacent and then take a 5-foot step?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Great. So spirit totem will attack the laughing scum.
Yep.
That's a miss. Because that was a 8. I'm assuming an 8 misses.
It does miss, yes.
And then Barnabas will take a 5-foot step.
Barnabas.
Barnabas will take a 5-foot step to the back, to behind him, and you see him. So the song is still going on, and he kind of starts moving differently to the song, and then all of a sudden, no one hears anything, but the movement resolves as if he is bellowing right in front of him, but no one hears anything except the laughing scum.
Whose ears might start to bleed, I'm
happens
guessing.
to hear an ear-piercing scream.
All right, so what is that, a fortitude save?
So that is a fort save, DC 14.
Fail.
Then he will take,
8.
let's see, 1d6 for 2, so that's 2d6
Nice.
of sonic damage.
Oh, awesome.
7 points of sonic damage.
Oh, 7 points of sonic damage as these...
And is dazed for one round.
Sweet.
Oh.
If you make
Sweet.
the save, daze is negated and damage is halved.
So the scum is just completely stunned as its whole body has been just like shaked and vibrated by the sound of this ear-piercing scream. All right, scum are up. We'll go to the back of the ship first. Pale Gray, the one that's been pounded on by the Braden Phantom, is gonna take 3 attacks on Braden. Trident. 23.
Oh, just hits.
Oh, just hits. Boy, it's gonna be tough.
Is that a slashing weapon?
It is a piercing weapon.
Okay. How much damage?
9 points of damage.
It doesn't seem like all that gets through.
Wow. So what DR does this thing have?
DR5 slashing.
Oh my god. Well, here comes a claw attack. That's slashing. Giant fucking miss. And bite attack. Yeah, okay. There's another one, though. There's 3 more attacks I've got. So Hunchback is going after Braden. Trident. Nope. Claw. Hey, 20?
Miss.
Oh. Wow.
Got mage armor.
The bite is not happening. And also, a significant amount of... Is it either natural? Was it natural armor or deflection? What does he got?
It's got an AC of 22 right now.
Oh.
With mage armor, natural armor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The laughing scum
Dazed.
can't take an action. Boy, the glossy-eyed scum has few options, all shitty. So the glossy-eyed scum is in the middle of the rubble swarm. Takes a 5-foot step diagonally to get next to the laughing one, so it can get into a position where it can reach Dabwick. Full attack coming at you, Dabs. Natural 20. Oh, boy, I backed up with a 22.
That's a confirmed crit.
Critical hit from the Trident.
Come on, don't do this to me.
16 points of damage.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Claw. Miss. And bite. 17?
That's a miss.
Okay, great. Phew. Purple Scum can take a 5-foot step out of the swarm as well to close with Skywind. There are now 2 threatening Skywind. Old Purple and old One Eye. They're gonna take full attacks on Skywind. And all right, let's see. Here comes Trident. Nope. Claw. Nope. Bite. Nope. The other one. Nope. Nope. No.
That was a whole turn.
So Skywind, you're just watching Skywind like getting into like water dance flow, right? Like just dodging back and forth. All these blades and, and claws and teeth are dancing around her as she dances the dance of battle. Okay, one last scum appears halfway down the deck on the south side, on the starboard side. This one has no mohawk, no fin mohawk. It climbs over the side of the deck about 10 feet away from Barnabas. So Barnabas is in a 5-foot kind of hallway there with scum on all sides. So, well, this will be interesting. All right, that's the end of round 3. Top of round 4. Stasi, you are up. You're threatening one.
Definitely taking this 5-foot step to flank.
Oh, yes. So with a 5-foot step, she can stand on top of the hatch to below to flank One Eye with Skywind.
Dagger lashes out.
Yep.
21.
Hit.
19 all day.
19 damage. So that's with sneak attack and precise strike.
Yep. And the weapon damage.
Yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone. There is no more scum there. That scum will never send its children to college. Scum can't have children.
Yeah.
Bates is up next. Bates is still standing on the front of the cabin here, looking down onto grand melee. We've got the rubble swarm left. We've got Dabwick and Stasi in the center of the deck. 3 scum that Bates can see. Old Glossy. Oh, 1, 2, yeah. Glossy Eye, the Laughing One, and Mr. Purple.
Bates takes aim at the laughing scum.
The dazed laughing scum.
After reloading his prototype alchemical torch with his tiny, tiny hands, and says, "Y'all ain't even as tough as ratlins."
None of you bit my nose off yet.
Oh, although maybe he missed. That's an 11.
Is this against touch?
It is.
That's a fucking hit.
Yes! For 6 points of damage.
Okay, this one's already taken some damage. It's not looking great. Not looking great. So you reloaded and shot. What about Braden the Phantom?
Braden the Phantom.
Facing off with 2 at the very end of the ship, the back end of the ship.
Is going to continue facing off against the
pale gray scum.
Pale gray scum. The one that has already taken 2 blows from Horflame. He rears back to give another mighty blow. And the first one is a 14.
That's a hit.
For 9 points of damage.
Phantom Horflame flattens the scum.
And then not even having to move.
Nope.
Although, should he move? Let's see. He will. He can take a 5-foot step now, can't he?
Yep, in the middle of his full attack.
So
yep.
he will take a 5-foot step, and he will make another attack at this one, scum number 7. And this is a 20.
Yes,
I'm assuming that hits.
That does hit.
For only 5 points of damage.
But here come the spirit, Barnabas's spirits.
Oh, hey, yes. I keep forgetting I rolled those.
Yeah.
Natural 1.
Okay. They're sad and confused.
They're confused by being around another creature from another plane.
Yes.
Like, this is very strange.
Din steps forward closer to the front of the cabin and takes a shot on Purple Scum that is harassing Skywin. Yeah, that's a hit. That's 4 points of damage.
Okay.
5-foot
step, take a shot, reload. Not a bad round for old Mr. Skywin is up. Finish it, Skywin. Skywin complies. Skywin runs the Purple Scum through, and it is no more for this world.
Is she standing next to any others?
She's not right now.
Okay.
Lynn, standing shoulder to shoulder with Bates, will take a shot on the dazed scum. Nope. Reload. Joshua does the same. No. Joshua's in the back of the ship. Joshua's going to cross over to the other side to get a sight on... Okay. So Joshua looks down from the top of this cabin near the aft end of the ship, the west on our map here. The Braden Phantom is standing adjacent to this hunchbacked scum and probably doesn't really have line of sight on this the last scum to arrive, this one with no mohawk, making its way down to the back of the ship, about to get into probably a flank here. So Joshua's going to take a shot on this no mohawk one. Nope, does not land that attack. Dabwick, you are up. Okay, so you're adjacent to 2 scum, the laughing one, the glossy-eyed one, and the rubble swarm is adjacent to you. You've managed to keep up the concentration this whole time, and it's been very effective.
It has. But Dabwick's ready to release concentration
Great.
on the rubble swarm
Yep.
and call down some lightning here. So,
Yes.
caster level, how many lightning bolts can I call down?
You call one at a time. Every time you take a standard action, it's 1 lightning bolt with this spell.
Gotcha.
And it just lasts for minutes. Like, for several minutes, you've
Yeah.
got the ability to just, like...
Anytime you want.
Yeah.
Glossy-Eye's been harassing and haranguing me, so I would like to call
Love
a lightning bolt down.
Great, so that is a reflex save for half. Here we go. 10, I assume, fails.
That fails.
Great, 3d6 electricity damage as an entire bolt of lightning falls out of the sky, slams into it.
Into which one?
Into Glossy-Eyed.
I rolled 2 6s on that 3d6 for a total of 16.
And fries it to death.
Sweet.
Ooh, boy.
That felt good. Dabwick
Nice.
enjoyed that.
So that's a standard action. Dabwick can still use a move action to move the swarm if they want to.
There
but...
is really nowhere else to move it.
Okay.
Can't you move it over the side of the ship?
Like,
Oh.
And then just get that last one.
Yeah.
can I move it over onto laughing.
What's its movement speed?
It's 10 feet.
Okay, all right. So this storm of rubble goes sliding past you, enveloping the laughing scum.
The day's laughing scum. That's 4 points.
Nice. Ain't looking great. Ain't looking great. Barnabas.
Barnabas is singing this song of...
Sorry,
What?
interrupting, but does the laughing scum want to make a save against nauseated?
Yeah, and it gets a 19.
Okay, well, fine then. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Barnabas is singing the song of Bassanio and Persephone, and he gets to the part where he is talking about Bassanio sacrificing himself, and when he looks at Barnabas and says, run, at the moment he says run, he looks at scum number 9's and no Mohawk Finn, and his face, for a split second, it looks like it becomes the face of a Baylor when he says run, as he casts cause fear to the scum number 9.
Nice.
That's a DC, will save DC 14.
Fail.
Nice. What does it do? That, the affected creature becomes frightened. If the subject succeeds at a will save and is shaken,
We're well aware
It's
of
leaving.
what happened.
It's leaving. That's the end of that story. You got a move action, and if you end your turn adjacent to one of them, you could get a spirit attack. The laughing scum inside the rubble swarm, only 5 feet away from you, has been hit many, many, many times.
I'm not as worried about him, though. This guy's, number 9's running, right?
Yep, he's out of this fight.
Then why not hit him on his way out?
Okay,
So I'll
great.
5-foot step to the west, and then the spirit totem will
drag your-
smack him in the ace.
Back your Baylor face over closer to him and hit him.
That's a 15.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Adding injury to insult.
Exactly.
Oh my god. 6 points of negative energy damage.
Oh, wow, nice. All right, scum are up. Boy, the no Mohawk one just leaps into the water and boogies out of here. You were holding a ranged weapon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so no attack of opportunity from you, but that one is gone. All we have left are the Laughing Scum and the Hunchback one. Laughing Scum wants to kill this effing halfling who has destroyed it repeatedly with this fucking swarm. Takes a 5-foot step out of the swarm, and here we go. Trident. 18?
Miss. Dabwick's slate-like skin is
saving
too
the day.
strong.
I love it. No good. All right, Hunchback is going to do a full attack here on the Braden Phantom. Nope. Oh no, you got something at 20, don't you?
Yeah, 22.
All right. The claws and bite are just globbing off of the ectoplasm that Braden is formed of. Top of round 5. Stasi is up.
Stasi reaches out to Dabwick
Yeah.
and casts Cure Light Wounds
Oh, excellent. Calling down the power of the Lady of Graves.
for 4.
Hey, it's more hit points than Dabwick had a second ago. You can hang tight there, though.
Well, I don't want to get in the swarm.
No, you're just surrounded by corpses. They're just scum
Yeah, that
corpses
doesn't
everywhere.
really bother.
Light a
No.
cigarette.
Life is being surrounded by corpses.
Life is a pile of scum corpse.
Yeah. And
Truer
there's-
words.
and all she can really do is block Skywind's way to that laughing orc. So orc. You're the laughing orc. Wait a minute, the laughing
Tyrant.
scum.
Tyrant.
So she will hold tight.
Bates is up.
Bates goes, "Who's laughing now? Get off our ship!" And he fires again.
Yes.
Uh-oh, that one probably misses. That's a 9.
That is indeed a miss.
Oh, he feels silly.
Does he reload?
He does.
And Braden.
Braden
Facing off with
facing
Hunchback in
off
the back.
against Hunchback in the back, and he raises Horflame to again smash down on it for a 23.
Yep.
That's 11 points of damage,
Oh, God.
and a 21
Yes.
for another 9 points of damage.
Braden has indeed helped. Braden has laid low so many scum in the back of the ship. Ran there early in the fight, and then just kept going as they kept coming. Just one standing left. Okay. Okay, come on, Din. Come on, Din.
Come on, Din.
I know for fact you can kill this thing if you hit it. One of you roll.
Just like the snake.
Give me a 20-sider and add... Yeah, 6.
That's a 5. Plus 6. 11.
Okay. Din misses. And
Din
reloads.
Didn't do it.
Here comes Skywin.
To a girl.
Yeah, let her have it.
To save the day.
Yeah, there we go. Skywin pierces the last remaining scum, the laughing scum, through the heart. And you all stand there amidst the carnage, the absolute carnage of scum all over this deck as finally the rocks dissipate and fall over the edge of the ship into the lake. And we just found out what happened over here in this timeline. It was a victory. It was a absolute, unequivocal victory as the 8 of you worked together to save all of those refugees below from the beginning of the Great Harvest here. We do, however, have one more timeline to return back to. And that will happen in part 3. Dark Nexus is a creation of Plug and Hum Productions. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, which are used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo Inc. For more information about Paizo's community use policy, please visit paizo.com/communityuse. And for more information about Paizo and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. That's PAIZO.com. Dark Nexus uses music and soundscapes by Sirenscape. Check them out at sirenscape.com. That's SYRINSCAPE.com. Opening and closing themes, along with additional music, composed by Rob Kauzlaric. Artwork for Dark Nexus is by Matt Wahlquist. Special thanks to Toy, without whose generosity this project would not have been possible. And thanks to DMCP, Richard and Ari, Paul and Shannon, Chris, Scotty, Jason, Jess, Joe, Chelsea, Matt, Dave, Darren, and everyone we've gamed with over the years for all the memories and inspiration.